is a foreigner living in the Philippines. And, well, what shall we talk about today? One of the things that I get the most interest in is people who plan on coming to the Philippines to live and really need some actual accurate information about how to do it. Now, there's many places that you can go to find out the real deal on whether you need a visa, whether you need a visa from where you're coming from. Somebody asked me, I understand, this is a post that I got just a day or two, or even today, about visas. I understand, he said, that President Duterte is telling everybody that Americans will need a visa from their own country. Right? It really doesn't make any difference, because right now you can get on a plane and come to the Philippines. Now, if you've done what I did, I went out and I think I got myself a visa. So when I arrived here, I already had a visa. But when I did, the immigration officer said, oh, you have a visa. Oh, you could have just applied for that when it was here. So the first visa that you apply, that you get when you come on the old system, if President Duterte has changed, the old system was that the first visa was for 30 days and you got that for free. After 30 days you went in, and without any real hassle at all, and certainly if you go to Tagbilaran, there's not even much of a wait either, maybe an hour, and they give you another 30 days which you pay for. Now, after that first single 30 days, you then can get 2 months, and I even think you can get 6 months. I've heard lots of different ideas on that. Some say that you can go in on Monday, get 2 months, go back again on Tuesday, get another 2 months, and do that until you've got 6. Other people say that you can just go in and buy 6. I could never afford to buy 6 because I'm on a very limited budget. If you've been watching these programs, you'll already know that. So, what do you need in order to come and start a life out here? Well, because people are watching the way that we live, the way that Beth and I live, then that's my wife, my Filipina wife, and because they've been watching that and they see us living on a hilltop, and it seems like a paradise. Well, compared to what I was living before, it is a paradise, but it's not perfect. You know, I bathe outside with a bucket and a scoop, and I don't have running water inside the house. We have electricity, but it's all on extension cables, and it's pretty primitive. But we actually live a happy life, and against all odds that are favoured by the people who live in fear and expect the bad news, and in a way create it in their mind. I live a very, very happy life. I'm happy. I'm not worried. I'm not worried about dying or getting my head chopped off, or somebody saying I got to leave. What's the point, right? So, what do you need? Well, if you're going to build a house, you're going to need money to build a house. It's as simple as that. Now, how are you going to live? Well, you've got to have some money to live on. Now, we live very modestly. Believe me, we very modestly. Sometimes we haven't made it to the end of the month, and sometimes we've gone hungry. We've been down to just rice, and then we've been down to even lower. So there can be rough times. If you don't have a reserve, then you may be in a situation like Beth and I were in when the US stopped my pension. I have a US pension, which is very modest, and I have an even smaller pension from the UK, and they stopped it. Right. So the reason that they stopped it was because I hadn't received their "Are you still alive?" letter, That's the letter that they send out to make sure that you are still alive. And if you don't respond to that, they say, "I must be dead." So they stop your pension. And they know that if you're alive, you'll get in touch very, very fast. That doesn't mean, by the way, that they will deal with reinstating it very, very fast. If anything, quite the opposite. So if you haven't got a reserve, then you got to get ready for some hard times. It's no more fun living in the Philippines with no money than it is living in America. And if you fled to the Philippines because you don't have enough money to live on in America, then you may find some times here when you don't have enough to go around. So let's look at what would be the ideal scene. The ideal scene would be that if you want to buy a place, then you're going to have some startup money. And the startup money is going to be crippling as soon as you get used to the economy. I call this a one-egg economy. That's because people are earning so little that you can go to a local sari store, that's one of the small stores, and you can ask for one egg. And they won't blink an eye, they'll sell you one egg. Try going into Costco's and saying, can I have an egg, please? And they'll say, is that a box of eggs? One box of eggs? One box of 150 eggs, or 18 eggs, or they won't think the same. So you can buy one egg. That gives you an idea how poor people are. And as soon as you will quickly start getting used to, am I on? Yes. You'll start getting used to the fact that you're not in dollars anymore, you're in pesos. And that's what the currency is. And now you'll stop converting everything. Oh, wait a minute, 100 pesos. Well, gosh, that's only $2. And you can't think like that. 100 pesos is 100 of something. And that's something that you have to think about, okay? So get rid of the idea that you're going to come over here and think in dollars or think in pesos or German marks or whatever. Think about pesos, because that's what you live in. And you'll quickly get used to that. Right, so you've got to have some startup money, and you've got to have money coming in every month. And if you can do what you didn't do in America, and that is have a reserve, then you're going to meet some possible scary moments. Right, now depending on what situation you move into. If you're moving here with a Filipino family, fine, you have a guide. You will not be lost. If you're moving here alone, then don't take what you see in our videos as being the way it's going to be for you, because it's not. When I moved here, I married my Beth. Probably the best thing that I ever did. She's a wonderful woman, great support, intelligent, bright, funny, and lovely. And far too young for me, according to most guys. I had one guy message says, "You look like you've got one foot in the grave. What's the matter with you?" I am a certain age, and although age is only a number, it's the number that I'm stuck with, okay? And you will be eventually too. So, you got to know what the situation is when you come. Now, I sold up, and I sold everything. Now, when I talked before about moving on, I had somebody that sent me a very poignant letter and said, I am trying to move on right now, but I'm losing everything that I ever cared about. Can't help but be touched by a letter like that. Well, my friend, let me tell you that when I came here, I gave away half of everything I ever came to love. I left lots of pieces of sculpture that I would just die to have back again right now. I sold them on finance. I gave them away at prices which were aiding and abetting a theft on the part of the person that I gave them to. But that's what I needed to do. Gave away all of my favourite books, all my favourite music. I gave everything away. And I went from a house and a fully equipped workshop to 2 suitcases. Did I give away everything that I loved? Damn right I did. And even now I have a few boxes that are with friends, trusted friends, who are wondering when the hell I'm going to come and pick them up, and they're still there. And they are things which I loved. I don't have a full workshop anymore. I don't have many things. Clothes, shoes, boots, all kinds of stuff that you just take for granted, but which George Carlin actually called stuff. Eventually you realize that this piece of flesh and bone is the thing that you care about the most. Because when you unload all of that, that is part of what you need to bring to live in the Philippines. Now, on an ideal scene, I have my friend Philip. He sold up, and he sold at the right time, so he had some money to come out here. And he had an appreciable amount, enough to set up, build a house, marry his lady, and all of those things which, when it's all going just wonderfully, is wonderful. But it doesn't always. So how does it go when it goes average? Well, average, you could come out here with $5,000 or $10,000 and be like a prince. You'd be able to set up, you'd be able to rent a house very, very reasonably. If you choose to live by the beach, then you will pay the same kind of high prices for a beach property as you would if you lived in Santa Monica. Go and try and rent a garden shed in Santa Monica for, I don't know, several $1,000s, and you'll have a hard time. It's the same. It's just a different ratio on the money. 48, I think the present is 48 pesos to the dollar. Okay, so that tells you what the change is going to be. So now, instead of talking about $3,000, you're talking about probably 2,000 or 3,000 pesos. So you need a little setup money, you need as much as you can possibly can, and then you need a modest to good monthly income. Now, if you're coming with $1,500 a month, boy, you are to be envied. You, depending on where you rent your property, you will live like a prince, right? We do what we do on under $1,000 a month. Now, a lot of people have been dying to know that, so there, I've given it away. We live on under $1,000 a month. Did that always do what we needed to do? No, it didn't, and we had a few rough times, I can tell you. Now, we've started to earn a little money. Contrary to what some of the cynics feel or think, we don't take any money at all. Like, we don't take any fee. Somebody said, so what's your cut? What's your cut on the money? Well, we don't have a cut. And why do we do that? Because we love doing what we do. Because when we go out and we're able to help somebody, that is reward in abundance. Occasionally, if we're running about too much, we take 1,000 pesos, that's $20 or $25, and put it in gas. That's what we do. That's our huge cut. The rest, couple of hundred every time we try to make a withdrawal, couple of hundred on fees from the bank. The good old banks again, our friends. They're going to help you to do everything and pay for everything, aren't they? Yes, they are, of course. So, you need an allowance, 1,000, 1,500, and if you're a wealthy man, if you're having 2,000 or 3,000 a month coming in, wow, you're to be envied, and you'll have a great fun time. If not, then you'll live like us, and we live in the mountains. Now, we live on property that has been owned by the Torrejas family for 50 years. I'm trying to see if I've switched myself off. And so we came here. Beth's father had died something like 2 or 3 years ago, and so we were able to come and build a house here. And how did we build it? Well, I built it myself. And how did I do that? I chose a material that I could easily get to the site, and that's how I did it. Now, because I've done that, a lot of guys look at what we've achieved and think that they're going to be able to come out and just buy a piece of land and build a house on it. Well, sorry, I use that word, well. Well, is there a well? Do you have water? Do you have power? When we came, there was no water, no running water. We don't have running water inside our house now. As I said at the beginning, we only have primitive power. Right? Here's my primitive power. This is what it looks like. See? We have these things all over the place. Is that a big deal? It's not to me, but it may be to you. If you're coming from a really nice house in Florida and you're downsizing because you can't afford to live there and you lost your house, then you may find it a little bit of a struggle camping out. I don't know just how realistic you are about what paradise is. Right, given that, you could come, you could live in Bohol, and you could rent quite a reasonable house for 3,000 or 4,000 to 5,000, 6,000 a month. And that would probably be very close in the centre of Talibon, which is a thriving small town, right on the coast and pleasant enough. And then you have to find something that you'd like to do. I don't have enough hours in the day to do what I do. We just are. We're up at 5 or 6 in the morning and we are going non-stop until 10 or 10:30 at night. We came home early today because Beth said, you know, I would just like to have a nap. And so we've done that. But the fulfillment in what we're doing is wonderful. And if you can come over here and instead of doing what a lot of foreigners do, and sorry if the foreigners are watching here, these are usually guys who may have come over, you know, to enjoy some of the other side, what I think of as the underbelly of any town, hookers and bars and booze and whatever else they do. Then you won't like what I'm saying, because those guys are the ones that are on the verge of betrayal all the time. Let me see how that works. You go in a bar and you pay a hooker to lay on her back while you do what you want to do, and then you're surprised when the kind of woman that you meet betrays you. How did that work? Silly Billy. So, but if you come and you did what I did, which was to find a good woman with a job, supporting her family, doing 2 jobs just to help them to pay their debts, to take care of them, doing all of that, putting somebody through school, having a religion, going to church, thinking about God, thinking about whether something was right or wrong. There's the key. Does the person that you have now thought was wonderful ever think about right and wrong? And if they don't, they won't give crap about whether what they're doing to you is right or wrong. And that's reality. So, you come over here and you behave yourself. You go to those places where decent people are trying to make a living, have a life, and you find yourself a partner who will find you, hopefully, worthy of her. It's not just a one-way street. So just recap. You have to come over with a sense of right and wrong, with a sense of whether something is worthy and whether you are worthy of it. Then you have to hope that you found someone who is on their path, a spiritual path, not one to get a gold ring or get something out of you and cheat you and lie to you. That's not going to happen. Too many wonderful women here will give you a chance that you may not have had if you were in America or your homeland, wherever that is. So, you come with good ethics, you come with a sense of right and wrong, and you look for someone who has that kind of leaning. And they'll go to church and they'll expect you to be a good guy. They don't want to be betrayed any more than you want to be betrayed, so behave. The other thing is you need to have enough money to be able to live on. Well, it's a fact that you can live on $1,000 a month. That's a fact. How do I know? That's me. Now, can you live like a king on $1,000? No, sorry, you can't. But you can live a good life. And you can have a fine woman who will stand by you as my wife has with me. And you can even go on and have a rewarding, fulfilling life as long as you don't take on the same kind of persona as many of the foreigners here, regardless of whether they're American or whether they're German or whether they're British. If you don't come out here and sit on your butt and bitch, and you actually try to take part, be integrated into the Philippine culture and try to understand it and not assume that you are right and not keep on saying, well, you know what, if I was in America, I could You're not in America. Get that into your head. Why would you? You don't want to be in America. Just to remind you, you fled from America, remember? You fled from England. You fled from all of that regulation. You can't get your driver's license quickly? Well, you fled from all of that. And I'm not just trying to be facetious and make fun of you. It's true, and I've seen this attitude in so many foreigners. I hardly have anything to do with any foreigners now because I can't stand listening to them bitch. So, come out with a little money to start with. I came out with $2,000. That's what I had. That was my situation there. What I couldn't sell, I gave away, and I got on a plane and I fled. Somebody said, "You're running away." Damn right I was running away. And I don't want to go back to that kind of over-regulated life, either in the UK or in the USA. I like where I live. I like my life. I love my wife. I adore her. Love my extended family. They've treated me royally. I help them. They help me. We work together. We found a joint mission with my brother-in-law, Pastor Timio. We have a mission. I went to him. I said, can't we help some of these people who are living in these wrecks of houses with dirt floors, and can't we help them? He said, that is what I'd been hoping to do. And I said, we can do it. And we are. And that's another video telling you about what we've managed to achieve in just 2 years of being here. But that's another video. Can you make it out here? Yes, you can. Will you love it? Depends on you. It depends on you. It's not paradise. There's many, many aspects of it which you won't like. But did you like everything about America? Then why are you leaving? Did you like everything about Britain? Why are you leaving? It's not just about money. There's a culture, there's a people, there's a way of life that is here waiting for you. But you will... I hope you find something of value in what I've said. Be prepared to change. That's the best advice that anybody can give you. Change. Change the way that you think. Look around at a group of people that are happy and ask yourself, why? How did they do that? And you may find a great deal more happiness than you've ever found before. That's what I found. So, I'm a foreigner living in the Philippines. I hope that you will like. I hope you will give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Please subscribe. It helps us to reach a wider audience, and then we're able to go out and we're able to help some people that really need it. Give us a break and give us your subscription. Bye for now.